first of all, I want to apologize to any earphone or headphone users right now, because if you're listening to this using your headphones or your wireless earplugs or whatever, there might be some voo voo sounds, once in a while, and those are notifications because I'm recording this audio-wise off my phone in the voice recorder app that I have. But I thought I'd just let you guys know if you're using headphones to prepare for that, because potentially it could happen a lot sooner rather than later. But with that said, on to our topic. So I went on to Bing, which is Microsoft's AI app. I went to Gemini's site, which is Google's AI app. And I asked them a question. Basically, and I'm going to read it off to you right now. I asked them a question of, could a movie based on the Berenstain Bears be made with brother and sister aged up to teenagers and brother gaining a girlfriend in Queenie McBear? Or could be Bonnie Brown from the new chapter books. And it gave me some interesting answers, very interesting answers. And I wanted to share those with you as well. I wanted to share those answers with you as well. So, for example, the reply by Gemini, and it's pretty much the same with Bing as well, pretty much they both had the same answers, and this is what both said. And I quote, "Absolutely, a movie with the Berenstain Bears as teenagers has a lot of potential. Here's why it could work." Now they say, relatable audience. Teenagers are a large movie-going demographic. Seeing brother and sister navigate the challenges of adolescence would resonate with a new generation of fans, while still appealing to those who grew up with the Berenstain Bears. That's, they categorize that under relatable audience. The other category they put is character growth. Aging up brother and sister allows for deeper character development. They can explore themes like identity, first loves, friendship, and figuring out their place in the world. And then the other category they put, Queenie McBear as a girlfriend. Queenie is a popular character from the Berenstain Bears universe, which is indeed true. Making her brother's girlfriend adds a layer of romance and potential conflict, especially if sister disapproves or there's a rival for Queenie's affections. Again, let me reread that. Queenie McBear as a girlfriend, which is a category they listed it as. Queenie is a popular character from the Berenstain Bears universe. Making her brother's girlfriend adds a layer of romance and potential conflict, especially if sister disapproves or there's a rival for Queenie's affections. And that rival could be too tall, if you will, too tall grizzly. Now, here's what they said as well. They have some additional ideas as well. They said, quote, "Here are some additional ideas for the movie. Plot-wise, this is a suggestion for a plot. The movie could center around a big event in Bear Country, like a school play, a talent show, or a community festival. Brother and sister could have to work together to overcome obstacles and achieve a common goal." Second category, lessons learned. The Berenstain Bears stories are known for their wholesome messages. The movie could tackle relevant teenage issues like bullying, peer pressure, or social media drama, with brother and sister learning valuable lessons along the way. And in the third category, family dynamics. The movie could explore the changing dynamics between brother, sister, and mama and papa bear. As teenagers, brother and sister might crave more independence, leading to humorous situations or heartwarming moments where they realize the importance of family. Now, they do know that the Berenstain Bears brand might have specific guidelines for portraying the characters. However, with a creative approach, a movie featuring a teenage brother and sister with Queenie McBear as a girlfriend could be a delightful addition to the Berenstain Bears legacy. And that is kind of true. If done right And I think especially today with CGI animation, it could be, something that, a lot of people enjoy. A lot of people, as families could, that grew up on the Berenstain Bears could, go and watch on the big screen if it was ever made. Now, the reason I bring this up too is because years ago, like almost a decade or so ago, there was talk. There was talk of doing a Berenstain Bears movie, but doing it in the way that became basically probably the worst decision ever made. Yeah, you heard me. The worst decision ever made. Unless it's done, correctly and makes sense, going in the direction they were planning for the Berenstain Bears originally, because again, there was a plan to make this happen, would have basically been like taking a dump on the franchise of the Berenstain Bears. And what I'm talking about is the original idea to do a movie was to do a CGI animated live action hybrid. And the way they wanted to do this was very similar to, I guess, how you saw Fat Albert be portrayed in his movie. Basically a family, that are fish out of water. Kind of like the Brady Bunch movies. Family that basically is, a family fishes out of water. They're stuck in a certain time frame mindset, if you will. Now, I'm not saying it can't work. I mean, if there's any good example of it working, take a look at last year's Barbie movie. If done correctly, it could work. But the way they were planning for it to happen, not going to work. Not going to work. It would be a slap in the face. But with the direction that I suggested to, the AI outlets like Gemini and Bing, and I'm sure others have probably come up with different scenarios and ideas as well, I think basically nowadays a Berenstain Bears movie fully animated with the right people behind it could be big bucks, from a box office perspective. Now, I'm not talking big bucks as, it's going to be the number one movie of all time. No. I'm talking big bucks in a way that basically states that, in today's world, you have directors, you have writers that grew up on the Berenstain Bears that understand them, that could do them justice. They can do them justice. And they got decades, decades worth of material to work with. We're talking over 60 years worth of material. 60 years. And basically, if you want to focus more on what was the more recent adaptations, book-wise and animation-wise, you have 40 plus years of material to work with. And we're not just talking the first time books. We're talking the ones I've shown before, I've talked about before, the new chapter books. If you want material that could give you, that you could, take from, that could allow you to meld and make and create magic, outside of just using material from the first time books, these new chapter books that they did is one of the best, I guess you could say, sources of material to work with. And by using some of that, nowadays movies are known to get that PG rating. Look at that second Paw Patrol movie. Nobody expected that. And I got people talking for a bit. This, to me, could get that PG rating. And believe it or not, with some of the material, they can mix and match, from the various adaptations, books, and animation, with all those various, pieces of material, they can create an animated family film that would be justified in having that PG rating and not just as an attraction, to get more tickets sold. But yeah, when you go online and you want to utilize the AI options of Bing, Gemini, or other ones, you're going to get similar answers if you were to ask the question I did. Now, you might say to yourself, well, if you follow the big chapter books, Brian, and some of the other books, Brothers' love interest isn't Queenie McBear. That's Too Tall's. Brothers is called Bonnie Brown. And she was introduced in New Girl in Town, that chapter book. I understand that. And they could go that route. I mean, let's not forget, a movie that's going to be 30 years old next year. 30 years old, a Goofy movie, which is loosely based on Goof Troop. Essentially Goof Troop the movie, introduced, a love interest for Max in Roxanne, a new character in Roxanne. And people loved that character. People fell in love with her pairing with Max. Okay? They loved it. They supported it. They wanted to see more of her. And I'm not saying that it couldn't be done in an animated Berenstain Bears thing for Brother. I mean, not many people know about Bonnie Brown. So if you were to bring her in, I think and she's written right, and you got the right voice actress behind her, you could have another Roxanne Max ship, on your hands that fans could get behind. You would. Oh, you could, I should say. You would and you could. But the reason I go with Queenie is because I think it makes more logical sense. Fans know more about her. She's been around the books a lot longer than Bonnie. And I think fans honestly have been wanting to see, Queenie go with Brother for a long time. Whether they've been reading the first time books, the new chapter books, the cartoons, mostly the PBS ones, there's always something there that I think fans cannot deny that makes them wonder, if they were to age this up a little bit, would they pair Brother with Queenie? Makes me wonder. So honestly, I think that's why, choosing a character like Queenie could be the best idea. Now, the idea of sister disapproving of it, that could be because she's close friends with Queenie. Yeah. In the animated series and in some of the books, mostly the new chapter ones, she is close friends with sisters, like one of her best friends. And and they always hang out with each other. So in my opinion, them saying there could be a conflict there of sister disapproving could be because she doesn't want her friendship with Queenie to be in jeopardy, and Queenie spending more time with Brother than her. And that's a reasonable way to look at it. And then of course you have the rival situation, which is a classic direction to go in too. So to me, they do give off some good answers. They really do. But overall, when I look at the potential that even an AI can say is possible, I definitely feel like, yes, a movie done right, maybe with some of this kind of premise for ideas, I think, could be a success. Maybe not a major, huge hit success, but a success. And it could definitely add to the legacy known as the Berenstain Bears. It really could. And also, folks would be wanting to see these characters, even if it's just for the movie, be aged up. I mean, here's the thing. When you look at Goof Troop, Max was always the same age for a couple of years, right? And they could have kept him that age even with the movie, but they didn't. They aged him up. Then come the sequel, they aged him up again. So I think honestly, I'm trying to think about the right words to say this. Sorry for the pause. I think honestly, Mike Berenstain, the guy that's writing the books right now, he'd be fine, with them being aged up, at least for the movie. Age them up for the movie and see what happens. But if you want to keep them as they are, in the books, that's fine. That's fine. So to me, I think if done right, and it would meet the approval of Mike Berenstain, he'd probably be fine with it. He probably would be. As long as the movie, with everything that I just mentioned possibly added to it, and everything I read off to you from Gemini, .com, from Gemini.google.com, Gemini.google.com, there we go. With everything kind of added in, mixed up, certain elements added in from different adaptations and interpretations, I think not only could you make a successful Berenstain Bear movie, not only could you make a story that could meet the approval that Mike Berenstain would be okay, that Mike Berenstain would be cool with, cool in giving, I should say, cool in giving, but honestly, you can make something that would honor the legacy of Stan and Jan. And that would be the most important thing. What kind of story can you do that would honor that legacy? And I think if they were to do that, take all those elements, make sure they meet Mike Berenstain's approval, because that'll be the most important decision maker in the movie happening. And I guarantee, if that all falls into place correctly, and this movie gets off the ground, if it ever does, if they ever do finally make one, I've got a feeling not only you have a hit on your hand, not only would you have a new chapter in the legacy of the Berenstain Bears, not only would you have basically newer versions, of, brother and sister kind of aged up a little bit, stayed true to themselves, but aged up. But you could have a story at the end of the day that would honor the legacy of Stan and Jen Berenstain and make them proud. And that's an absolute fact, in my opinion. That is an absolute fact. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on a possible Berenstain Bear? What are your thoughts? Try to find the right word to say. What are your thoughts on a possible Berenstain Bears animated feature being made with some of the premise that an AI site like Gemini has given as a possibility? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. And until then, guys, I do apologize for that notification. But until then, I am out.